Artemis Toast here, and we're going to do another all kinds of awesome album review. Haven't done one of these in a couple days. Been doing part of my random video series. Uh, the one we're going to do today is, follows a career of one of the guys that just, epitomizes rock, and that's Ozzy Osbourne. And the one we're doing is Ozzy Osbourne's Blizzard of Oz, which is all kinds of awesome. This is, to my knowledge, and I may be wrong. I don't pay attention to these things. I'm involved in so many of my own musical projects. Being the world's greatest guitarist, and the other half of the time I'm a roadie for somebody. So I may be incorrect on this, but I think this is the last album that the fellow shredder Randy Rhoads was on. He shredded his way through this particular album. I also like the way that it says on the back, Randy Rhoads, all guitars. Just letting it be known that if you hear guitar on this album, it was Randy Rhoads. No session musicians. I didn't call in Artemis Toast to, give me some magical riffage, but it's all Randy Rhoads. Real quick side note, it's misunderstood. It's a common misconception that Randy Rhoads was a tiny guy. Um, you know, that's not true. He actually played a giant guitar. It's a perspective thing. He had to play a giant guitar because, he would shred a normal sized guitar to dust. They had to make these big, 150% sized. You know, uh, I think Dean made them for him. Dean guitars. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they made these like giant guitars. So that's why you look at these like photos of him. He looks like a small guy in comparison to the guitar, but in actuality, the guitar is just giant. So I think he was actually about like 6'2" or something. He was a little bit taller than I am. But I play a normal size guitar, so um, if I picked up his guitar, I'd look even shorter than he does in pictures. Um, but once again, this is Blizzard of Oz by the great, legendary, original frontman for Black Sabbath too, Ozzy Osbourne. Um, you see, you Randy Rhoads back there, and unfortunately, he passed away. He was rocking really hard, and it made a helicopter fall from the sky. My condolences to the great, Randy Rhoads' family. Um, Magical guitarist. You know, one of the best shredders in the history of rock and roll. Um, as usual, Ozzy Osbourne's, lyrics and vocals are really good on this. Ozzy Osbourne, whether it be with Black Sabbath or, his solo stuff, he's really good at, setting a tone and painting a picture, really good way of explaining a story. There's multiple meanings to, his lyrics and everything, but, there that was also behind a particularly specific picture that was painted, with his words. Um, he was really good at that, and then his singing itself, the way his voice was, it sounded like more than one person singing at one time, and that's without overdubs in the studio. His singing voice, um, his singing voice sounds like a choir in itself. It's really, that's brings a nice haunting thing to his you know to his words that he writes himself. Um, I'm gonna give you the cliche single tracks off of this album. There's other great tracks on this album as well, but I'm gonna concentrate on the hit singles off of here because there's a reason why they're hit singles. They're just great songs. Track 2 on side 1 being Crazy Train, one of the most recognized riffs, by the late great Randy Rhoads. Um, I don't care if you listen to the Justin Biebers, I don't care if you're listening to the Kanyes and the Harry Styles, it doesn't matter what you listen to. You listen to, um, Aborigines bang on conga drums, in Australia. But no matter what you listen to, you know that riff from Crazy Train. That's one of those riffs that well, first off, it's all kinds of awesome. It's one of those riffs that you could pick it out, um, you know, out of anywhere. Anybody can. Uh, kind of like Smoke on the Water, or those just really recognizable riffs. Those ones that you want to learn first. Randy Rhoads' Crazy Train, main riff. That's one of those riffs. Amazing song. And the other one is, my particular favorite track off of Blizzard of Oz. Um, Mr. Crawley. That's a dark, haunting, song that is all kinds of awesome. Um, One last quick side note. Unlike some of the other albums I covered, I'm not on this album cover. I'm not any. None of my magical guitar skills are heard anywhere on this album. As Randy Rhoads succinctly put it, all guitars. But my cat at the time, his name was Alistar. That's him right there. The late great Alistar Kitty. He was awesome. I happened to be visiting Ozzy Osbourne. I happened to be in Los Angeles at the time. He was there too. You know, I was traveling through, and Alistar Kitty. I took him everywhere, much like I do Private Cat now. Um, he's like, hey, Artemis Toast, world's greatest guitarist. Can I borrow that cat for my album cover? And I was like, oh, as long as you do it soon. So long story short, there's a late feline of mine that I had, great pet cat named Alistar. Alistar the cat. Once again, Ozzy Osbourne, Blizzard of Oz. Excuse me, all kinds of awesome. With any album, I highly recommend listen to front to back in order to get the full meaning the band intended behind the album. A lot of times I think it's overlooked that when the producer and or the band get together, when they make this track list, there's a specific reason behind it. So yeah, singles are great, but when you're talking about albums, I don't know, every once in a while albums these days, but specifically back in the vinyl days, cassette days, they wanted you to listen to them in a particular order, and that's the way you get the best experience from an album. The sign out here, we got Ozzy Osbourne, Blizzard of Oz, all kinds of awesome. I am Artemis Toast, the world's greatest guitarist with magical ears of honey to offer these album reviews. Artemis Toast out.